You're listening to the CobCast. I'm Cobb, and this is the cast. This is another weekly roundup of my previously published stories. This is Weekly Roundup number 4. Risking fines from the city, OurCalling helps shelter the homeless. OurCalling opened its doors as an emergency inclement weather shelter for people experiencing homelessness in Dallas. A city ordinance allows faith-based organizations and churches like OurCalling, a local ministry, to do so as long as they're not within a half-mile of downtown. OurCalling's facility at 1702 Cesar Chavez Boulevard is well within that limit, so the ministry faces the threat of a $2,000 fine for providing shelter. The Dallas City Council approved the ordinance in November. It allows faith-based organizations and churches to obtain permits as shelters when temperatures fall below 36 degrees between the hours of 4 p.m. and 8 a.m. Wayne Walker, the ministry's executive director and pastor, says more people need their help than ever.
And yet we have more people experiencing homelessness than ever. We meet, new people, sometimes 75, 100 new people a week that have just for the first time experienced homelessness. So we've got a bigger inventory issue now with more people needing services and less services available.
The annual count of Dallas and Collin counties' homeless population is delayed. An annual census of homeless people in Dallas and Collin counties that helps the city determine how its homeless programs are working will still take place during the COVID-19 pandemic, although at a later date, over a longer time period, and with fewer people doing the counting, according to a city memo. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requires communities that receive certain federal grants intended to combat homelessness to count sheltered homeless individuals annually. Unsheltered counts are required every other year, but many counties, including Dallas and Collin, do both annually. Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance is the lead agency for the homeless response system in Dallas and Collin counties. David Gruber, the Development and Communications Director at the Alliance, explains the importance of these counts like this.
The way to explain this is that imagine you're flying an airplane, right? And when you're flying the airplane, you've got the windows outside the cockpit, so you're able to get a lot of data just from. You might not think about it that way, right? You're just looking, right? You get a lot of data that way. And then you have your instruments that pick up the data, and that way you know where to fly, where not to fly. If suddenly you did not have any data, you wouldn't be able to fly the plane. For that matter, you could hit the side of a mountain and not know it, right? So you have to, whenever you're trying to deal with any situation, with any challenge, with any problem, you have to have good data.
City Council unanimously approves Botham John Boulevard. Dallas City Council voted unanimously Wednesday last week to rename a portion of Lamar Street after Botham John, the 26-year-old accountant shot and killed by former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger. The portion of the street between Interstate 30 and South Central Expressway will be called Botham John Boulevard. The votes come as monuments dedicated to Confederate figures tumble down across the country. The street was originally named for Mirabeau Bonaparte Lamar, the second president of the Republic of Texas. He fought to nullify federal laws and U.S. Supreme Court rulings regarding slavery and Native American removal, and opposed the annexation of the state into the U.S. because he supported slavery. Here's Botham's mother, Allison, addressing the City Council on the day of the vote.
My family trusts in the Lord's power and are trying to move from the hurt and pain to new horizons. One wish is that Botham's name will be remembered and never ever be forgotten. The renaming of Lamar Street is one way in which our wish can be honored.
And lastly, the Dallas Police Department will implement a program teaching officers how to better police themselves. It's called the Active Bystandership for Law Enforcement Program. It aims to improve police culture by teaching officers how to prevent harm and misconduct by their coworkers. The program is a nationally coordinated initiative from the Georgetown Innovative Policing Program that's also intended to promote officer health and wellness. And that's it for this week. For more on these stories, you can find links to them in the description below. I'm Jacob Bond, a journalist based out of North Texas. Some people call me Cobb. and this is the CobCast. Thanks for listening.